setting up your webinar for YouTube. Setting up your webinar. You're listening to the Real Life Trading Pre-Market Day Trading Show. Good morning out there, everybody. Yes, that is my voice dubbed over that music there. Hope everyone is doing well. A little bit of a bloodbath yesterday out in the markets, thanks to our man Jerome Powell and those minutes of the meeting from last month. Kind of came out of nowhere, talking about balance sheet reduction. I won't go into too long of a dissertation on that, but it's kind of weird to me that they're saying, hey, we're looking at significantly running off our balance sheet while they're currently still adding to it. Now, granted, I get they're adding slower, but they are still buying bonds even through the taper. It's kind of like me coming out and saying, hey, I'm going to lose weight in May, but right now I still got about 15 more pounds to gain. Like, why not just stop losing? Like, don't gain the 15 pounds. Like, just stop adding to the balance sheet now, and it's less money you have to, sell back into the market later. But hey, who am I? Just a dude on the internet. So SPY took a huge dump yesterday on that news because that was definitely not foreseen by the market. The Qs got absolutely demolished. And if you're in any growth stock, you are pretty much getting wrecked. The bellwether for kind of tracking growth is ARK. And ARK is getting hammered. Full disclosure, I am in leap puts on ARK. I'm in a leap put diagonal or a long put diagonal on ARK. It broke the low. It's probably going lower. Kathy continued to add to losers yesterday, although she was already selling DocuSign. So like everyone that says, oh, well, Kathy's got a 5-year time horizon. Like, does she really? Because she was just buying DocuSign here and then she's selling it right here. So yeah, I don't know. And every day selling, a little bit of Tesla to fund the losers. So I'd be very, very careful on growth stocks. Things that I would be buying on pullbacks, banks. I know they're not sexy, but banks. Here's one that I'm personally looking at. I know people are probably going to make fun of me, but A.O. Smith, they make water heaters. It's only a couple percent off the high, so if this thing gets a pullback, I think this company's been around since like 1900, and still a housing shortage. I think they make like 1 in 2 water heaters in the nation. Just looking at some different stuff, companies that actually make money. So what's up, YouTube? Let's take a look. Bam Dad wants to look at JD.com. I don't want to buy anything China. For those of you that have watched some of the YouTube videos that we've put out before, stock reviews. Personally, I do not own any Chinese stocks. I'll day trade them. This one, it might get a little bit of a pop today for a day trade, but I don't want to touch anything China outside of a day trade. I've been saying that for months and months, and I've been shorting every single rip on Baba. And if this thing trades back up into this blue line, I'll probably short it again, short it again there, short it any of these pivots that it comes up. I'm going to short the rip on Alibaba. So I think China's in a recession, and I don't think that any of these stocks are going to do a whole heck of a lot. Doesn't mean you can't day trade them, but personally, I would probably steer clear. Outside of just a day trade, JD has a little bit of a gap up. Verizon, this is a company that makes money. Been in this, 2-tiered channel for quite a long time. Buy towards the low of the channel as it rallies higher. Collect some dividends, like sell it and rinse repeat. So Could Verizon rally into the 200? It could. There's definitely some resistance here. So cautiously optimistic on Verizon. I do own a little bit of Verizon. Oftentimes what I'll do is I'll just sell puts on something like this till I get put some shares, collect dividends, sell calls till I get called away, and then pay for my cell phone bill for a couple months with money that I made trading VZ. But it's not clearing yesterday's range. I like outside range moves. I generally don't day trade anything that is inside of the prior day's range. Airbnb. I'm in Airbnb. I do have a covered call at 180. I was looking really good over here. Nice bullish engulfing candle. And yeah, after yesterday, Airbnb is a stock that, they don't currently make money. It is a reopening play, a little bit of growthy name. I am in this one. Doesn't mean you can't be in any growth, just probably don't be in all growth. Like pick the ones that you like, and you still got to manage your risk. But it looks like Airbnb is probably going to come a little bit lower. Now, a lot of these stocks that are just getting absolutely hammered from yesterday and continuing to gap down. I don't know if I would aggressively short them out the gate, but I do think that it's probably going to go a little bit lower. Yeah. Let's see, Dan, how would I do that? You know what I click on how to do that?
I don't know if you can hear me now.
Oh yeah, I can hear you. Yep.
But I think that's it, right? I don't know.
Let me unclick my sound sharing because otherwise it might be getting you twice. And everyone on YouTube here, Mr. Jansen.
What is up, YouTube? Yeah, I figure we'll go back and forth for the first 30 minutes, hang out for a little bit. I see some comments coming in on the YouTube, so that's awesome.
Yep. I'm looking at some of those and trying to monitor the Zoom chat here. Square. I mean, you knew over here when it took out this low, Square was in trouble. Got a pennant pattern. It broke it down. Square's going lower. I had this put sale that I literally had I had an order in to close it at 25 cents. It got down to 25 and a half and it didn't fill. I'm okay owning some Square down there because that is right below the 618 retrace of the entire COVID, move that Square had. But Square, aka Block, is sinking like a cube.
They do have their 618 retracement from the low of that move all the way to the high. It's coming up soon. It's 130. So I'm looking at it's 130.47. I'm looking at that zone to maybe look to start buying some shares. But yeah, it's a little bit of a free fall.
Yeah. I think if you're in Square though, you probably have protection. I don't see why you wouldn't over here. And if you're in our Slack channel, I posted on this day, hey, we're closing below all of these pivot points. Not massively below it, but it did barely close below. That would have been the day that I would have bought puts. I know there were a couple folks that unfortunately got out of their puts. We never closed back above the moving average. I wouldn't have closed my puts on that day, and this thing has been just, rolling over. So probably continues a little bit lower. Dan, how about Boeing?
Boeing is it's getting a little momentum behind it. So yeah, if I know everybody in real life trading knows I trade Boeing a lot, but yeah, anybody on YouTube, I like Boeing. I do. It's picked up a lot of momentum. It actually held up decently strong. I think we hit 118, maybe slightly above 118, not 118, 218 yesterday. And just the market pullback really pulled it back a little bit, but it still kind of held pretty much its own for most of the day. So I like it. They did get some good news about a week or two ago where they're allowed to sell to the Asian markets again. So I'm a fan of momentum for any stock that has a little bit of a breakout. I think Boeing is. We still are going to have a little resistance probably around that 226. So it's not going to be a quick shot up, but yeah, they're about one or two news catalysts away from hopefully breaking back to that 250 level.
Yeah, I really like that we made this lower low over here. It looked like looked like it was going to roll over. Then it became a trap. Great one white soldier candle there. And we're still hanging out right around the 100. So there's a lot of support, but yeah, there's a lot of resistance in this area as well. Um, yeah, Boeing looks all right. Boeing. One that does not look all right that Kathy Wood was buying more of was DraftKings. I would not touch this with a 10-foot pole. Looks like this one's coming all the way back down to 20. Some folks were asking me about PLTR. If maybe this is going to be some huge trap right here and this thing just rallies out. If that does not happen, PLTR is coming much lower. This thing could possibly come all the way back down to like $11. So if you own some, like that's cool, own a little bit, but I'm sure you have some protective puts on it. Like I don't see why you wouldn't once we started taking out this low. I do have some shares of PLTR. I have $20 puts, and if this thing just continues lower, I'll just sell my shares at $20. Yes, I'm going to take a little bit of a loss, but I'm not going to get absolutely crushed and, bag hold this thing all the way down into the low teens.
Hey, Falco, I'm gonna run over to the other room because I don't know if Jeremy's in on that one yet. So
Okay, yeah.
I'm gonna go
Awesome.
switch over. You
Thanks,
guys are
man.
awesome. I'll see you guys throughout the trading day. See you guys.
And then just a word of caution out there for the overall markets. Jeremy is traveling international today. It's what we like to call the Newsome indicator. And whenever he travels internationally, for some reason, the market sells off like, 8 out of 10 times whenever he leaves the country, as soon as he is wheels up. And I don't know. Should I give this away for free? Like the moon phase? Look at that moon phase. Open moon, or the new moon, empty circle, empty your portfolio. So you got the moon phase, and we got Jeremy's travel schedule working against us. Why does he keep traveling? He almost travels as much as you, Justin. You're also a fellow globetrotter. Scott wants to look at MRO. Yeah, oil's been nice. MRO, I have a swing trade, but struggling to know when to lock in profits versus trail. Is this a... So it's not an all-time high, but if I were to draw some resistance, I would go to the left, and I would draw, pretty much like right where it is, right in here. Probably would have used the grandma number of 18. It went to 1808. So depending on where if you got in down in here, I think you could have your stop trailed here, and then maybe you're looking for something like this. Otherwise, like this area right around that 18 is pretty good target, just based off of some horizontal resistance over in this area. Like this pivot, you got a gap right in there. You got a pivot here with a gap there. You have some pivots over in this area. You have a low here, a high of that candle. This pivot where it fell off of. So there's a lot of resistance right in this area. So that's what I do is I look to the left and look at prior spots where the stock changed direction and use that as targets or support resistance. Cool thing about swing trades is you can scale in and out of them pretty easily. There's no like time limit, right? Like a day trade, you got to be out by the end of the day. You're day trading. If you're swing trading, you could peel a partial off up here, have your stop down in this area, and then hold it. And if it chops around for like 2 weeks and then breaks out higher, it doesn't really matter all that much. So that's kind of the cool thing. You can be a little more patient on the swing trades. Got it at 1671. Okay, so right over in this area. So yeah, hopefully there was a little bit of a partial exit yesterday. If not, I would watch it today. And let's go into like a smaller time frame. Yeah, so if you're just like really needing to lock in a gain or something like that, like I'd probably have my stop at like 1752 or 53. Something like that. Below like this point of control and some of this pivot in there. I do think energy is probably going to be a continued winner, but I don't think it's going to go straight up. Ron's got protective puts on Nike. Yeah, Nike probably going to fill this gap. Microsoft coming into the 100. You also got this gap here. It was pretty obvious it's going to fill at some point just because it's so high. Tesla filled this gap. I don't see why that was a surprise to a lot of people. But I figured that this gap was going to fill. Did I think it was going to fill in 2 days? Probably not, but it did. It filled that gap. I think it's a good thing, and we'll see what happens. For those just thinking, hey, Tesla's just going to rally to like 2,000. I mean, I don't know. We do still have a lower high here. Until it makes a higher high, I think you got to take a look at buying low. I know it sounds simple, but for some reason, buying low and selling high. So if it trades back down into like 950, you can pick some more up in there. Otherwise, I'd go with some of these fib retracement levels. I don't think Tesla just hockey sticks, into 1500 or anything. So Woodshed's probably measuring this move. Yeah, right around 1,000, right in there. Yep, very possible. Very, very possible. Upwork is going lower. And yeah, I have some shares and I have long puts on them, and yeah, Upwork's gonna go lower. Probably comes back into $25, and if it doesn't hold there, it's coming all the way to 21. You should be in protection if you own Upwork. This was your fake out for the bulls. As soon as we took that candle out, if you weren't in puts already, you needed to buy puts there. And the trend is bearish. Yeah, trend's bearish on Upwork, Upstart. All these things are shorts. CrowdStrike. I mean, you probably want them to get a little bit of a rip. Yeah, I'll look at Target in just a second. Sorry, I did skip over that one. But like Snowflake, CrowdStrike, Zscaler, all of these have very, very high multiples, and the market hates that. Stories kept them alive, but that's starting to not matter as much. Again, I would try to want to short a retest, but all these things are shorts. You want to look at Teladoc? Yeah, Teladoc going lower. All right, Target. So Target, what was that long term? Yeah, so it hit the 200 and it sold off. So yeah, probably retest down into like 222. Maybe back into this level. It's just I can't look at this chart and not point out the fact that this looks like a picture perfect double top with a neckline retest. Yeah, this is on the weekly too. So that's the only thing with Target is that yeah. Especially we retested the bottom of the 200, failed and rolled over. Tell them the 500 fake points of something. Who can tell me what other stock did this recently and just absolutely got for schlobber knocked that we've been talking about? It looks very similar. The double top's a little bit bigger, but NNDM, that wasn't the one I'm thinking of, but might have. Square, yeah, Sylvan got it. Roku. Looks like a giant double top. This is a huge warning signal over here. That kind of reminds me of Target a little bit, or like that type of retest and then failing it. So yeah, Roku. I think Roku's going lower. I shorted Roku yesterday. I wish I would have held longer, but oh well. It was a great 10 EMA on Roku, but that's kind of what Target reminds me of. It's definitely not doing what Walmart's did. Walmart looks pretty decent. Walmart's bounced off this level, I mean, multiple times, been very, very clean. Yes, this is kind of a wide stop, but, whatever. I think he's out of Roku. I think he sold. I think he stopped out of Roku. And it does kind of look like Square as well. The double top isn't as clean, but right in here, where we retested the 200 and rolled over. And then this is the last ditch effort where absolutely 100% had to bounce. It did not. It failed. It was a short. And NDM, this is going to 0. Let's go ahead and move on from that one. Sorry, Greg. I don't like any of these types of stocks. This is going to 0. I don't even think Kathy's going to be able to sell out of this thing. And if it goes down to like $2, like that's effectively 0 and stays there forever. None of these are worth trading or investing in. I mean, I'm not coming in and shorting it now because most of the meat is off the bone. The space Ponzi scheme, if you wanted to short this, that down to 10 or maybe like a little below 10, like $9, you might be able to do that. Try to do it on a retest. I bought puts on this on their earnings. I'm like, you're kidding me. This thing's gapping up. On earnings, I think they made like $100 in revenue. My only regret is not buying long enough. So I had December puts, so I had to end up exiting those. But yeah, that reminds me of something like this. Would you even be able to get out of a short if it goes exactly to 0? I mean, you have to be able to buy to cover to exit. That's why stocks don't generally go like right to 0, because shorts also have to buy to cover to get out. Once it goes below $5, it's considered a penny stock, and like at that point, it's pretty much dead. Yeah, anything on like this red list: Amwell, Fastly, Teldoc, SelectQuote, Lemonade, EverQuote, Ride, Nikola, Workhorse, Jumanji, AYX, Space. This is the market for like Procter and Gamble, Coca-Cola. Again, don't buy these right now, but on dips, these are the things that you want to be buying. Things that are in uptrends, not things that are in double black diamond. If you like things like this, like just go skiing. Come up to Sun Valley, Idaho. Head to Aspen, Colorado. Telluride. If you want to do double black diamonds, don't trade the stocks on double black diamonds. I think Twilio is going lower. Twilio, I do like the company, but it's a growth stock with a high valuation. The chart absolutely looks like it's going lower. I think 220, 217 is pretty doable for this one. 190. So this would be like the first level of interest where like maybe you're grabbing a little bit daily. Then maybe 190, that weekly 200. And then like worst case scenario, this gap fill all the way down here. Let me just go take a look at Twilio. It's down to a 16 price to sales. It's getting cheap, but they lose almost $1 billion a year. I don't know. Can they be profitable? Here's the thing. How do you value a stock that makes no money? Like traditionally, and not in the last couple year type of market. If the company makes no money, it's not worth anything. It's illiquid. It's yeah. It's like, what's your net worth if you owe like 500 grand and you got $10,000 in your bank account? Like your net worth is negative. So either buy very, very small or just wait until these stocks stop going down. Fastly long? No, absolutely not. Fastly's probably coming down to 23. I mean, things can go negative. Look at, oh yeah, I don't have to do slash on here. That's CL1, bang. I mean, we learned that with oil, right? Bloodbath and Beyond, yeah, sorry, not enough bees. Bloodbath and Beyond, getting a little bit of a rally. This is gonna probably pull up Beyond Meat. I think it gets sold into. The only thing that could save this one is that it has 42% short float, so maybe some shorts are gonna get squeezed. I mean, but it's just right back to where it was like the day before yesterday, so I don't know. I don't know that I could say like, oh yeah, huge short squeeze coming in. What's up, Ron? Not Yoda, and over on YouTube. Good to see you, man. Long time. So yeah, there's another one that yeah, definitely don't buy this thing either. Yeah, Path, like this is looking horrible. Hood, just getting absolutely zero love. Yeah, don't try to buy any of these. Peloton, this one's going to zero. This gap is never gonna fill. It's never gonna recover. Have fun with that one. So yeah, we got about 5 minutes left. Roblox for before we go just right into our Zoom room only. So Roblox is probably going to be coming into this fib level right down in here. It's like 86. Potentially fill this gap maybe. I didn't think that was going to happen, but this is a metaverse play. Nancy Pelosi's long on it, but you can't fight the Fed. So I do think this one is dip buyable. Just be careful how aggressively you're buying the dip. Ford is definitely buy the dip. If you did our almost free advanced course, I think we charged like $30 that I did it being in December. Then you probably went long on Ford. Valuation is super cheap. It's if the stock is losing money, Lucian, we're in a rising interest rate environment where the Fed is removing the punch bowl, and if the stock is not making money, it's a long dated type of return. You want stocks that make money now, right now, that can pass along inflation to their consumers immediately. Ford is dip buyable. Yeah, it's just so cheap. PayPal's it's a little different than Square from a standpoint of it's at least stopped like plunging, but you really don't want to see it put in like a lower low here or definitely there. I am in some PayPal. I will either be out or be loaded on puts if we try to break that level. I've been accumulating PayPal in here, and it doesn't look great, but at least it's not going straight down anymore. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's just straight up 2000 tech bubble. Death by 1,000 cuts, gonna bleed out. Some of them will never recover. Some of them will, and it'll take years. Not every company is gonna be Amazon. Something like Nvidia, like yeah, you want to buy like something like this on some pullbacks. Just don't think that it can't like come all the way back to 230. Same thing like Apple, it hit 3 trillion. I sold 10% of my Apple up there. I don't think I would consider adding back to it until into the 160s. Yeah, Amazon having a rough time. Comes back in the 3100, I would add to Amazon. Microsoft filling that gap. Google. If Google fills this gap, that'll be great. Micron's probably dip buyable. The people finally got their money back 20 years later on Micron from the 2000 tech bubble all the way over there. Yeah, Microsoft, I think it's going to fill that gap, and then we'll see what it does. See what it does in here. But if the overall market pulls back, you know, the mega caps are going to get shot, and they're going to have a little bit of a pullback as well. Team, this one's going lower. I feel like this is a ginormous gap. There's nothing but air in here. There's, you know, zero support. So, yeah, probably all the way down into here. And you could take a shot at this one. All right, YouTube. Gotta shut it down. Sorry, it's a lot of bearish charts out there. But, yeah, growth is having a hard time. Try not to catch the falling knife. If the stock looks like a double black diamond ski slope, just move on to something else. Buy things that are in uptrends on pullbacks, and let the things that are in downtrends, let them at least stop going down before you start to nibble. And we will see you on the other side. We got our free week at the end of the month. Otherwise, you can check us out at reallifetrading.com and trade with us live every day. Thanks, y'all.